Hey family, welcome to another episode of Living Truth podcast. I am Nifiah, your host, and I am so happy to be here with you today. Today we are going to do a question and answer with Nifiah. You would not believe the questions that I get. And family, as you listen to these podcasts, I ask that you do go ahead and put your questions in the podcast chat so that others can see them. I will respond in that chat for those who don't ask me questions out loud, who don't have direct access to me, or who are not bold enough to just ask me some of the questions that I'm being asked. So let's get started and have some fun. We're going to start out with a question that I get all the time, and that is, were you always vegan? No, I was not always vegan. I had eaten meat my entire life up until about 2016, 2017. We discussed that previously. I let you all know that I was diagnosed with high cholesterol, pre-diabetes, migraines, depression, and some other illnesses that were not cured with medication. Some of the medications I did not even bother to take because as a health professional, I do understand very well what the side effects are. So I never bothered to take much of the medication that was prescribed to me. My doctor recommended that I moderate some of the things that I was eating to lower my cholesterol, to change my status of pre-diabetes. And that simply did not work. So I decided to eliminate meat, dairy, things that I knew were not making me feel good on a regular basis. I just decided to eliminate those things. And I didn't do it over time. I cut them off. I did it cold turkey. And I recognized immediately that I didn't have the GI issues. I was sleeping better. I had more energy. I wasn't suffering as many headaches. And none of these things happened immediately. But after a month, after 2 months, I could immediately see the change. And because I was pre-diabetic, I did have to revisit the physician. So a year later, I was still diagnosed as pre-diabetic. However, my cholesterol had gone down. My migraines were minimal. I had lost weight and was feeling much better. So I started to educate myself on why I was still pre-diabetic. And it was based on the things that I was eating. Although I wasn't eating meat, I wasn't eating dairy, I was still eating a ton of sugar. So as I started to eliminate the sugar, the junk, and intentionally eat whole food, my diagnosis changed. So no, again, I was not always vegan. I ate meat up until, I want to say, end of 2016, early 2017. The second question I get, and I guess that's the same thing. How long have I been vegan? So I've been vegan now, I think that's 7 years, between 2016 and 2022. I'm not doing math in public. The next question I get all the time is, what's the difference between vegan and vegetarian? Vegans do not eat any meat or any meat byproducts, and vegetarians still consume dairy products. They don't eat meat, but they consume dairy products. So milk, cheese, eggs, ice cream. Eggs are not considered dairy, but I lump that in there. The fourth question that I get is your whole family vegan? My whole family is not vegan. I am the only vegan at this time in my family. I have 3 adult children and a grandboy who is the love of my life. My older son goes back and forth from vegan vegetarian to meat, and he also does that based on how his body is feeling. My daughter does also go back and forth. She eats uh, a vegetarian diet along with a meat diet. I try to encourage her, strongly encourage her, not to feed my grandboy any meat or dairy products, and he does enjoy a vegan diet more than he does a diet that is inclusive of meat, high oils, sugar, and salts. And my husband, who lives in this house with me, uh, does eat meat. He eats more of a pescatarian diet, and that might be another question other people have. A pescatarian diet is a diet that's free of um, red meat, chicken, turkey, things like that, and higher in seafood. He eats more seafood now than he does red meat, chicken, and things of that nature. So his dietary habits are changing. I would hope that he would adopt a vegan diet, but there's not very much he eats at all. So I am um, daily encouraging him uh, to make better choices, and he is doing just that. So no, my whole family is not vegan. Um, I get all the time, what do you eat in a day? I eat a lot of food in a day. I am an athlete that uh, works out 2.5, sometimes 3 hours a day. So I work out at 5 a.m. and then 3 to 4 days of the week, I work out again at 6:45 p.m. So I have to eat a lot of food to fuel my muscles. I eat about anywhere from 1,800 calories to 2,500 calories a day, depending on what my workout is for the day. Uh, that's a whole nother podcast that we can talk about. And again, I eat a lot of food. And now I am a slim individual. We have a question in here that's really funny to me. Um, and people ask me all the time, do I take steroids? No, I don't take steroids. I lift heavy. I work out twice a day. I eat a lot of food, which fuels my muscles. Um, there is no need for steroids when you eat a whole food, plant based diet. And when you eat the right foods, you can grow your muscles without uh, performance enhancing drugs. I know all of you have heard this question over and over, especially for individuals who eat a plant based diet or a vegan diet. Where do you get your protein? If I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. All plants have protein, um, and I eat the gambit of them. Additionally, you can get your protein from beans, any plants that you eat, um, your tofu and soy. All plants have protein. I am not lacking in protein. And then how do you get your calcium and your vitamins? So again, in the plant kingdom, you can get lots of calcium from your soy, your tofu, edamame, your nuts like almonds, your seeds, your chia, and your flax seeds, apples, bananas, oranges, they all have calcium. Your dark green leafy vegetables, your spinach, your cabbage, your greens, all of these things that you enjoy, you can get your calcium and vitamins from. So your plant-based friends, your vegan friends, we are not lacking in any of these nutrients. The only nutrient that we have to supplement with is B12. B12 is a nutrient that is found in your meat products. And if because we don't eat meat, you don't get that B12. And B12 is a very, very, very important supplement to have. Helps with your brain function, your energy levels. So yes, every day I do supplement with a B12. That is the only supplement that I take to assist me in my food nutrients. Another question that I get is, do I really drink a gallon of water a day? Each and every day, I do try and drink a gallon of water. Some days are better than others. Some days I don't hit it. Other days I drink more than a gallon of water. And generally, I drink more than a gallon of water when I am doing my two-a-days. And how I get my gallon of water in very easy is I have these 16-ounce glass water bottles. This one here is 14 ounces. You might have seen my square 16-ounce water bottle in a previous episode, or if you see me around, you see me with several of them. That 16 ounces times 10 is 1 gallon of water, is a little bit over a gallon of water. I drink those and refill those daily. That lets me know that I am getting in my water requirements, or if I have not. Generally, I'm only left with 1 or 2, or I have to refill and I'm drinking 2 or 4 more. So again, some days are more than a gallon. Some days I don't hit it. Some days I am right at a gallon. I mean, keep in mind that you don't just have to drink your water. You can eat your water. And you can eat your water through cucumbers, through watermelon, your pineapples, any fruit and other vegetables that you eat, tomatoes. You can eat your water as well. So more than likely, even though I don't drink the liquid form of water to equate to a gallon of water, I probably still hit that gallon through my diet. And I already answered this question. Do I work out every day? I work out 6 days a week. I have 1 rest day, which is Sunday, and that is active rest. So I still walk. I may do a short run. Right now, I am preparing for High Rocks, which is huge, the World Series of Fitness. That's what they call it, the World Series of Fitness. And it is a competition in which we are running 5 miles and doing 8 very strenuous exercises between our running. So I have been preparing for that for the last 10 weeks. And actually, today is 30 days to the date that we are going to compete. Our team is going to compete in LA in December for High Rocks. So wish me luck. It is very strenuous. I am going to have fun. My team is going to have fun, and we are going to rock it. If you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, I will post some pictures so you can see what it looks like. But if you're curious, just look up highrocks.com. So yes, again, I work out every day, and 4 to 5 of those days I work out twice. Another question I get often, and I was just discussing this on yesterday: what foods do you miss or crave? Honestly, I don't miss or crave any food, and I don't crave any food anymore because my body is no longer addicted to those foods. So I did used to crave sugar because sugar is highly addictive. I had to eat candy all the time. I was not a huge baked goods individual, but candy was a problem for me. Candy, sometimes cakes and cupcakes, but sugar is a problem. It is highly addictive. It is an excitotoxin. It causes brain fog. It causes a lot of issues. And for me, because my body, I was diagnosed as pre-diabetic, that means my body was not using all of that sugar I was ingesting properly to fuel my body. It was not getting where it needed to get to fuel my body. So I don't crave or miss anything, especially having the knowledge of what those things were doing to my body. So I'll go to some of my favorite foods, and they're the most horrible foods for you. Some of my favorite foods when I did eat meat, my number one, I would say, was bacon. And we all know how horrible bacon is for you. It's just pure fat, which causes clogged arteries, high cholesterol. Bacon is not good for you. Another thing I like to eat, I hadn't had it in a while, but another thing I did like to eat was bologna and cheese sandwiches with mayo and mustard, hot dogs. And if you know anything about uh, bologna and hot dogs and any of those highly processed meats, first of all, bologna and hot dogs, they are everything mixed together, everything of the meat. Imagine them just taking and grinding an entire animal together, all the animals. That's bologna and hot dogs. Yeah, even even just talking about it kind of turns my stomach now that I know what it is and how it's not good for you. And then not only that, to preserve that, the sodium that they use in there, it's high sodium, and the other preservatives, things that we can't even um pronounce or maybe don't even know what they are, the colorings, all of those things are not good for us. And they are inflammatories, and they make us very, very sick. So those are some of the things that I did like to eat, and they are probably the worst. Oof. Okay, we go on. Do you ever eat junk? I do. I still eat potato chips a couple of times a month. I do make my husband vegan chocolate chip cookies. They are vegan, but again, we've talked about this on other podcasts. They still have sugar in them. I never ever, and they can attest to this, I always have to taste it to make sure it tastes good. But I can never just sit and eat cookies. I do like uh, vegan or dairy free ice cream. Not much, because I have disciplined myself beyond those things. But chips is a problem. Chips are a problem for me, and I won't lie about that. I can eat potato chips all day. I don't, and neither should you. And I think that's about it. Because I don't ingest a lot of sugar, anything that is high in sugar, it is overwhelming for me now because my taste buds have changed. That's another thing when you are constantly eating things that are not good for you. So when you're eating a high amount of sugar, high levels of oil, and salt, they numb, if you will, your taste buds. They change your taste buds, and so you feel like you always have to have those things. So because I no longer eat a lot of sugar, I no longer eat uh, lots of salt and oil, my taste buds have gone back to their original state. And so when anything is high in sugar, it's overwhelming to me. Anything that has a high level of salt in it, I just can't eat it. And oils, I detest oils. I really do detest oils. I've sent food back at restaurants. I've thrown food away, even here, if there is too much oil in it. Another thing to know with foods that are highly processed, they are processed sometimes with oil. So they may not be oil free. One example is the vegan sausage, the plant based sausage. They are processed with oil, and sometimes it's a whole lot of it. Well, I have eaten them, and cooking them. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of oil in there. So you want to be very cautious of what you are purchasing that is processed, and the amount of oil, salt, and sugar that are in those products. Your diet should be, if you're eating a whole food plant based diet, and I'm going to say period, your diet should be about 80 to 85% fresh and whole foods, and 15 to 20% processed foods. So whole food plant based eaters like myself, we do eat processed foods. I eat some processed foods, but not a lot. Another question I get often is, do you eat out at restaurants? And if so, what do you eat? I do eat out at restaurants, and I eat out at all of the restaurants. Again, I told you that my husband is not a vegan. He absolutely loves seafood. He loves all things seafood. And so we go to a lot of seafood restaurants, and even regular restaurants. So when I go to those restaurants, I may just order a salad. If it is a better restaurant, maybe I'm not using the right words, but I can order mashed potatoes, not cooked in dairy, but cooked with a veggie broth. Brussels sprouts are my favorite. So anywhere we go, generally I can find roasted uh, Brussels sprouts, mushrooms. I can get mushrooms almost anywhere, no matter what restaurant we go to. Corn. Keep in mind, restaurants sell vegetables. So you can get a full meal and leave there full without eating meat. When you go to restaurants and you eat a plant-based diet, or you're trying to eliminate dairy and meat, you need to be very specific when you are ordering your food, and let them know you do not eat dairy. You might even have to say that you are allergic. So, for instance, we recently went to a restaurant. I ordered truffle mashed potatoes. I love truffles, you all. And yes, I spent a lot of money getting truffle oil and black truffles. Don't judge me. Truffle mashed potatoes, Brussels sprouts, and mushrooms. Everything that I ordered had dairy or cheese. So I had to send it back. And it did not say that on the menu. So you need to make sure that you are asking the questions. Does that have dairy and cheese in it? Send it back and have it uh, redone. So just roasted Brussels sprouts, no dairy, just season and roast them. Mushrooms with just the microgreens, no shredded cheese on top. I don't understand why in America everybody thinks everything needs cheese. It does not. And then my mashed potatoes with just a veggie broth, and the truffles. Request what you want. Insist on inclusivity, no matter where you are. Even at a big steakhouse. At a big steakhouse, they will prepare a vegan dish for you. Another question is everything you eat grown by you and fresh? No. And I just stated that. During the summer, and even into winter, um, I do grow a lot of my vegetables. Here in Michigan, we cannot grow a lot of fruit just because of the weather, but I grow a lot of my vegetables and my herbs in the wintertime. I grow them on a smaller scale. I am looking to order at least two new indoor growing planters in the next week or so, which will give me more capacity to grow my food in the wintertime. But no, everything I eat is not grown by me, and everything I eat is not fresh. For instance, I buy edamame frozen, I buy frozen vegetables. These things are frozen fresh, but they are still frozen. And I do eat some processed things. I eat processed seaweed, for instance. I eat vegan granola bars. I love those applesauce and mango pouches. Those are quick go-tos, things I can eat after my workouts on my way home from the gym. So no, everything I eat is not fresh, and it's everything I eat is not grown specifically by me. Maybe one day though. This question, this question cracked me up because it came from someone who I know and love so very dearly. And I know a lot of other people have these questions, but this individual is very bold and she will just say what's on her mind. So she asked me, why are all vegans fat? And first, I want to say all vegans are not fat. However, there are vegans who are still overweight and have a high BMI. When I introduced this podcast, I let you all know that I was a fat vegan. And most of you who are close to me don't believe that. And this person said you've never been fat in your life, but I have been fat. And according to clinical standards, I was obese. My BMI for my height was and weight was way too high. And what that means is I have too much fat in my midsection around my organs. At one point, believe it or not, my thighs rub together. They still kind of rub together, but it's muscle, so I don't care. But the individuals who have labeled themselves vegan, who might be carrying a little more weight or who might be overweight or obese, they are in that state because of what they eat. The quality of food and nutrients that they are taking in are not good quality at all. And so, as I stated, I ate a lot of sugar. I ate a lot of carbs. And I want to say carbs are not bad. Carbs are your friend when you eat them correctly. You do not need to cut carbs to lose weight. I eat a lot of carbs, but you have to eat them properly. And that leads to our next episode, quality over quantity of food. So the quality of the food on your plate matters. And that's why you see vegans who are quote unquote fat. I mean, they might be fat for real. I was fat, and it's okay if I call myself fat. I was a fat vegan. But that's why they are eating the wrong things. So that being said, you want to make sure that if you are adopting a whole food, plant-based lifestyle, you want to make sure that you are eating the right things and you are getting a good balance of nutrients. But we will dive deeper into that in our next podcast. I hope that this podcast was as fun for you as it was for me. I was trying to be serious as I read some of these questions. I jotted them down really, really quickly. So some of them I didn't even read. But this last one really got me, and that was funny. Why are all vegans fat? So you all, thank you. So I hope you all got your questions answered. Again, if you have any questions about a whole food, plant-based lifestyle, diabetes, chronic illnesses, you can DM us at LIVNTRUTH message us on Instagram at LIVNTRUTH, and our Facebook. You can also leave your comments in the podcast. I would love to answer them there for individuals who, again, don't have a direct line to me and just have questions about these things. I want to thank you all for joining us for this episode of the LIVNTRUTH podcast. Get connected with all things LIVNTRUTH by checking out our webpage, LIVNTRUTH.org, and following us at LIVNTRUTH on IG and at LIVNTRUTH on all other platforms. Stay tuned for next week's episode. Schedule your consultation with me, Nifiah, today, and start living an intentional life of vitality through nutrition.